would like to talk about modal scales. Okay, when we talk about modal scales, we always take as a reference a diatonic scale. What's a diatonic scale? Well, a diatonic scale, it's a scale that has 7 notes, and there are 5 tones and 2 half steps within, always. Depending on the way that you organize these 5 steps and these 2 half steps within the scale, then you will have a different modal scale, different moods, different sounds. Yes, so that's why we talk about modal scales, because as we are talking about scales that has 7 notes, we can get 7 different scales that have 7 different organizations of the tones and the semitones that are within. Yeah. Okay. So as always, we take as a reference the measure scale. Yeah. So I'm playing C major. I'm starting on the 8th fret. Yes. If we look at the structure that this scale has, mainly it has 2 steps. Yes. 1 half step, 3 steps, and 1 half step. Then, now I'm playing this measure scale or Ionian scale. This scale can be, it's called Ionian as well, in C. But I can play exactly the same structure in different pitches, in different key signatures. Yeah. So instead of starting with C, I could start on A. Yes, so that would be, again, that's A on the 5th fret, and that would be 2 steps, 1 half step, 3 steps, and a half step. Yeah, and if we use exactly the same structure a bit with a higher pitch, so maybe we can play E on the 12th fret, E major scale, and that will be the 1. Yes, so that will be again 2 steps, half a step, 3 steps, and a half a step. Okay, so I was just playing the same organization of tones of semitones within the fretboard. Yeah, in a different key signatures. Let's gonna take C as a reference. Because the C key signature just use natural notes without sharps or flats, so therefore if you want to write it down on a paper, the notes I'm playing, it will be easier to find out the relations within the notes. Okay, so we say that a diatonic scale has 7 notes in total. Yeah, and it's a scale that has 5 steps and 2 half steps, organize it in different ways. So depending where do we start to play the diatonic scale, in that case it's C major scale, we will got a different sonority. Yeah. So just to simplify, we can start assigning numbers in each note. So if that's major, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is the octave. Yeah, so we can say that's the 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, 4th degree, 5th degree, 6th degree, and 7th degree of a major scale, and the octave, which is 1st degree again. Yeah, just that's higher pitch, the same note. Okay, so we already went through the measure scale or Ionian scale. Then if we start the scale on the 2nd degree, instead of a major scale, we got a minor scale that's called Dorian, and and it sounds like that. Yeah, so that has 1 step, a half a step, 3 steps, a half a step, and 1 step. So as you can see, it has a different structure. Then if we start the major scale on the 3rd degree, then we got the Phrygian scale, yeah? And this scale sounds like that. And the structure is the following. It has half a step, 3 steps, half a step, and 2 steps. Yeah. Then if we carry on, we go to the 4th degree, which is an F in that case because we're playing on C, and that's a Lydian scale. It sounds like that, and that's the structure. So that would be 3 steps, half a step, 2 steps, and half a step. Then if we move to the next note of the scale, that would be G, yes, the 5th degree. That would be 2 tones, half a step, 2 steps, half a step, and 1 step. That's a Mixolydian scale. And we just carry on. On the 6th degree of the scale, we got the Aeolian scale, yeah, which is the same as a minor scale, and it sounds like that. So it has 1 step, half a step, 2 steps, half a step, and 2 steps. Sometimes instead of a step I say tone. You should understand as the same, a step or 1 tone. It's more or less the same, yes? And then the last one, it's on the 7th degree of the scale, which is a Locrian scale. And it sounds like that. And it starts with a half a step, 2 steps, half a step, and 3 steps. That's a Locrian scale, yeah? So I play all of them a bit more quickly. So that's the Ionian that starts on the 1st degree. That's the Dorian that starts on the 2nd degree of a major scale. That's Phrygian, which starts on the 3rd degree of a major scale. That's a Lydian, which starts on the 4th degree of a major scale. That's a Mixolydian, which starts on the 5th degree of a major scale. That's an Aeolian, which starts on the 6th degree of a major scale. And that's a Locrian, which starts on the 7th degree of a major scale. And we finish with the 1st degree with the Ionian scale. Yeah, I just did the whole thing again. Okay, why that's important? Because yeah, that's a lot of theory, and sometimes it's hard to find out what is the use of all this. Well, for example, as there are songs that instead of using a major scale, they use another modal scale. So, for example, I Wish from Stevie Wonder, they use the Dorian scale. Yeah, so they start on E flat. The E flat on the Dorian scale is this one. Yeah, I move a bit so you can see my hands better. So that's the Dorian scale. That. Yeah, and what they are doing, it's to play that. I'm sorry. Yes, and they add a passing note. Yes, so if that would be the octave, the minor third, the 4th, the 5th, and then we got the 6th, then the 7th, the passing note, and the 1, yeah? So that's So that's a Dorian scale plus a passing note on the 7th, because they are using minor 7 and a major 7. The major 7 is the passing note. and all the song use, or most of the song, at least the verse, they are playing Dorian scale all the time. We find that on melodies, so for example, if we go to So What, that's just a standard, so the melody it's on E flat, and it's a Dorian scale, and it goes like that. Yeah, I already say that all the day, yeah, I mentioned that before. So that's the Dorian scale. Yes, and they create a melody out of this scale. And then they start on E flat, and then they just repeat the same melody on the Dorian scale. Yeah, so yeah, that's how it is. So it has a lot of uses, and actually give other color to the music that you want to create. Yeah, because you can use major, minor. That's the modes that we use the most. But sometimes it's worth to investigate other options. For example, if we go to blues, the blues, because when you play a blues, you mainly play 7 chords. So therefore, you use Mixolydian scales all the time. The Mixolydian scales are the ones that are start on the 5th degree of and that's a Mixolydian scale. So for playing blues, we will always use Mixolydian scales or pentatonics, but you can use both. Yeah, so it's good to know that the Mixolydian scales is an alternative to the pentatonic scales when we improvise on blues. And that's the use of it. So it's good to know that it exists to practice the scales using the cycle of fours. So for example, you can say, okay, let's gonna play all the major scales like this, and so on. Let's gonna use all the Dorian. And so on, and you can do that with all the scales in order to internalize the scale and play that without having to think about the patterns. And then once you got that internalized, then it becomes easier to identify those scales if they are used in a specific songs, or you can use it by yourself to create your own craft. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.